6 months ago, Marcus made what he thought was the smartest financial decision of his life. He quit his stable corporate job. For 5 years, Marcus worked at a digital marketing agency. His salary was $70,000 a year. It wasn't glamorous, but it came with health insurance, a 401k match, paid vacation, predictable paychecks every 2 weeks. Still, Marcus felt trapped.
Every morning he woke up at 7 a.m., sat in traffic, worked in a cubicle, answered to managers, and like millions of people, he started dreaming about something else. Freedom, no boss, flexible schedule, higher income. Then, one day, an opportunity appeared. A recruiter messaged him on LinkedIn.
They needed someone to manage social media accounts for multiple brands. The same work Marcus was already doing. But this time, it was contract work. Independent contractor. The pay? $95,000 a year. Marcus did the math in his head instantly. He was making $70,000 before. This was a $25,000 raise. More money, more freedom, more control over his time. He accepted the offer within 24 hours. Marcus thought he had beaten the system. But 6 months later, he sat down to review his finances, and the numbers shocked him. Despite earning $25,000 more on paper, Marcus was actually taking home less money than before. Not a little less, thousands less. And the worst part? He was working more hours than ever. Marcus didn't make a mistake. He fell into one of the most common financial traps in the modern workforce, the 1099 income illusion. And millions of workers are falling for it, because the gig economy is built on one simple trick: make the number look bigger while quietly shifting the costs onto you. Let's start with the first hidden cost: taxes. When Marcus worked as a traditional employee, he paid payroll taxes like everyone else, Social Security and Medicare. That rate is 7.65% of your paycheck. But here's the part most people never notice. Your employer quietly pays another 7.65% on your behalf. Half the tax is hidden. So the real payroll tax is 15.3%. Employees just don't feel it because the company pays half. But the moment you become self-employed, you pay both sides. Marcus didn't realize this when he accepted the contract. His $95,000 income now came with a 15.3% self-employment tax. That alone added more than $9,000 in extra taxes every year, before even considering federal or state income tax. Just like that, over a third of his raise disappeared. But taxes were only the beginning. The second cost hit Marcus when he started shopping for health insurance. At his old job, the company covered most of the premium. Marcus paid about $250 a month. He barely thought about it, because the expensive part was invisible. Once he became a contractor, he had to buy insurance himself. The cheapest decent plan he could find? $600 per month, over $7,000 per year, more than double what he used to pay. Another chunk of his raise gone. Then came retirement. At his corporate job, Marcus contributed 4% to his 401k. His employer matched it dollar for dollar. Free money. Every year, the company added nearly $3,000 to his retirement savings. As a contractor, that match disappeared. If Marcus wanted the same retirement progress, he had to fund both sides himself. Another few $1,000s per year. Then Marcus realized something else. Vacations weren't vacations anymore. At his old job, he had 3 weeks of paid time off. He could travel, relax, or visit family, and the paycheck kept coming. But as a contractor, no work means no income. When Marcus took just 1 week off to visit his parents, his income dropped by almost $2,000. Freedom suddenly felt expensive. Then there were the business costs. Laptop upgrades, software subscriptions, cloud storage, project tools, faster internet, a home office setup. At his old job, the company paid for everything.
Now, Marcus paid for it all. Thousands more per year.
But the most exhausting cost wasn't money, it was time. Marcus used to spend his day doing marketing work. Now he had to run an entire business, sending invoices, tracking expenses, filing quarterly taxes, negotiating contracts, chasing late payments, bookkeeping, legal paperwork. Every week he spent 6 to 8 hours doing administrative work, hours he couldn't bill, hours he didn't get paid for. And when he finally calculated the true numbers, the truth became impossible to ignore.
After taxes, insurance, lost benefits, equipment costs, and unpaid time, Marcus's effective income wasn't $95,000. It was closer to $63,000, less than he made at his old job. But now he was working longer hours with no safety net, no paid vacation, no guaranteed paycheck, and constant stress about finding the next client. Marcus thought he had escaped the system, but in reality, he had become something else entirely. A cost-cutting strategy. Because when companies convert employees into contractors, they eliminate massive expenses. No payroll taxes, no benefits, no health insurance, no retirement match, no paid leave, no equipment, no office space. All those costs don't disappear, they simply move from the company to the worker. And when millions of workers accept these contracts without understanding the math, companies save billions, while workers unknowingly take pay cuts disguised as raises.
Now, this doesn't mean contract work is always bad. Some contractors earn far more than employees, but they do one thing differently. They price their work correctly. There's a rule many experienced freelancers follow. To replace a full-time salary with contract work, you usually need to charge 40% to 50% more, not 20%, not 30%, closer to 50%. If you earned $70,000 as an employee, your contractor income needs to be closer to $100,000 or more just to break even. Marcus didn't know that. Most people don't. They see the bigger number and assume they're winning. But income isn't what matters. Net income is. And the difference between those two numbers is where the trap lives. Today, Marcus is reconsidering his options. He's negotiating higher rates with clients. And if that doesn't work, he's considering returning to a traditional job. Because freedom isn't about being self-employed. Freedom is about building a financial structure that actually works. And sometimes the most profitable move is the one that looks less exciting on paper. If you're thinking about leaving your job for contract work, run the numbers first, because the biggest raise of your life might secretly be the biggest pay cut.